It's now Thursday and I haven't been here since Saturday, so I've had a few days off. But I'm down here today and hoping to give the body a bit of a wash. Then I'm going to buff it up and see how much of a shine I can get on the car. Although the bodywork isn't brilliant and there is sort of bubbling, I don't know, pimples all over the body, it's also pretty flat, and red does tend to suffer from oxidisation. And I'm hoping that just by giving it a good polish that it will take your eye away from all the pimples and just make the car stand out a bit more. I'm going to begin with just giving it a quick wash to get any surface dirt off of the body of the car, and then I'll go ahead and buff the bonnet and possibly the front wings too. And this wet look is sort of giving me an idea of perhaps what it might look like once it's buffed before it goes to play. Right, so I'm ready to start buffing. Everyone's got their own way of doing this, and I've never been taught, so I just do it my own way, whether it's right or wrong. I think the end result is always the same, so let's see how it turns out. You can see straight away the shine is brilliant. I just hate all these little pimples on here, but it's taken the flat paint and really made it go glossy. Look at the difference between here and here. So as I say, the bodywork is never going to be perfect on this car, but it is going to be shiny. So I'll just carry on with the rest of this and see how far we get today. So there's the bonnet done, so it's looking like a million times better than what it looked like before, but as I say, there are all these little pimples which perhaps would tell me that whoever sprayed this before, they might have had oil or water in their gun or in their airline or something like that, which is a shame because it's actually a good job apart from that, but it has come up shiny. So all this will need now is probably just wipe it down with a bit damp rag and then give it a wax. So I'll carry on now with the wings and the rest of the body. That's all the machine work done now, and all I've got to do is go around by hand catching all the little nooks and crannies that the buffing machine wouldn't get into. Once I've done that, I'll give it a clean up and a wax. So now I'm on to the part where I'm starting to polish up the chrome work, and I'm going to use a couple of different techniques that I've seen. One is using 4-0 wire wool with Ultrasol, and the other one is, instead of using wire wool, is a piece of kitchen foil. I don't know which one's a better way of doing it. Like I said, I've seen people do it both ways on YouTube, so I'm going to give them both a try and see what happens. The bumpers on here aren't in terrible condition. They're not sort of rusted through, but they've got pitting on them. So let's see how well they turn out. I think the idea behind the 4-0 wire wool is to lift up the little sort of rust spots and turn them from orange back to the colour of whatever the metal is beneath, which is obviously nickel plated, from what I know about chrome plating. Well, it's definitely come up shinier. I mean, you can still see the pitting, but it's definitely come up a lot shinier. May not even bother using the tin foil, unless the tin foil is meant to do anything different to what the wire wool does. The good thing with the wire wool is it's so fine that it doesn't leave any scratches on the surface of the bumper. So that's what it looks like after a little bit of a polish, and that's what it looks like before I polished it. So I'll carry on doing that and finish these off now. I think just for the sake of it, I'm going to try a bit of the tin foil with Ultrasol and see if that does make any difference, if it makes it easier or anything like that. I have seen someone use tin foil with Coke, Pepsi Cola, and I did think of, well, I actually did bring in the Coca-Cola to do that with, but I don't see how it's going to make it any better, so I'm not going to bother with that technique. What would have been nice was if the sort of elements of the tin foil came out and plugged those little pit holes, and then made it all look nice and new again, like brand new chrome, but that ain't the case. So comparing the two sides that I've just done, I literally see no difference between them. It's not easier, it's not harder, it's not any better, so I'll just carry on using whatever method now. Okay, back to the wheels. This is like the worst part of the whole job. I would have mentioned in one of my previous videos, the guy who had the car before gave him a coat of wax oil to stop him from rusting, but this stuff it just dries really, how can I say, it's almost like it's solidified. I'm breaking it down with degreaser. It's not breaking down as easily as I would have liked it to. At the same time, I'm using a piece of wood here, and it's just a little strip of oak. And as I'm sort of rubbing over the spokes, I can feel the little almost gritty bits that have gone harder than other parts of it. The nice thing about this piece of wood is, using a piece of wood, is it forms itself to the shape of the spoke, so it almost hugs around it and makes it easier to do more, but not easy enough for me to enjoy it. You know what, this will be easier with the wheels off. This is a much better angle to work from. Give them all a good soak to begin with. Yeah, please, yeah. That's the other good thing about working here, I get coffees made for me. So, it's the end of another day. It's now 6:30 and I've spent the whole day here. I've managed to get the bodywork polished, the brightwork polished, and I've also gone over the wheels. So I'll just give you a quick look around it so you can see how well it's looking. So, starting from the front, the car is now looking a lot more shinier than it has done for a few years, I reckon, albeit with all its pimples and acne that the paint has kind of inherited. Polished up the bumpers as best as they'll come out, and they are pretty good considering like 40-year-old or 48-year-old bumpers, 48-year-old car, but they came out really well. There was sort of some minor pitting on them, which is still visible if you go really close up and look, but it's not too bad at all. I'm very happy with that. The other thing is the wheels. The most important part of this car, really, for me, is the wheels, and they've been an absolute pain to clean. These two wheels, the ones on this side, I haven't taken home and steamed, so I've just sort of cleaned them from scratch here with degreaser because they had wax oil on them, and then had to break down all the built up brake dust and whatnot, but they've come out looking amazing. And to me, the wheels are the selling point of the car. Everyone wants a chrome bumpered, wire wheeled MGB Roadster.